Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Melissa, and today I'm going to be reviewing the latest, or I should say, most recent episode of Ready to Love. This is season 4, episode number 9. And in this episode, the couples are going to be going to a retreat, which is a big mansion that they normally bring the contestants to, that is beautiful, and they get to interact with each other under one roof, because there's one thing to phone call or video call people, and then there's another thing to actually interact with them under one roof and see how they really are on a daily basis, as opposed to maybe one day out of the week. So Walter and Sabrina are riding together, so she's asking him, what do you think we are, and do you think we're a solid connection, a solid couple? I didn't hear any response from Walter. They may have cut it out to make us feel like he's hesitant, and I feel like that is how they create, I should say, interest in the show, because if certain details are leaked too early, then it's like we're already gonna know how it turns out, and there always needs to be some level of hidden secrecy that we find out later, or else it's no fun to watch. So she discloses to him that she was a dancer, and I was like, that's interesting. And it wasn't a couple of years or anything like that. She was a dancer for 10 whole years. And Walter says it's a red flag. And I said, in what way is it a red flag? Because I feel like society deems dancing as something underground, dark, dirty, hidden, disgusting, debauchery. They just attach dancing to just all the negative stereotypes that you can think of. However, I'm thinking people do dancing as careers. Like, people literally go to dance school and learn certain types of dance to be dancers. So I feel like it's not necessarily a thing that people do because they fell through the cracks and had a bad go of life and just ended up in that place. Sometimes it's a chosen career field, and people practice and they learn and they develop their craft, which is dancing, specifically to be dancers. And I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with that. I feel like sometimes we just need to open our minds and think beyond what society has deemed dancing to be, because dancing is much more classy than what we've been led to believe. Now, for her to have done it for 10 years, it could be for two reasons. One reason being she genuinely loved dancing as a career. And another thing could be that she fell on some really hard times, and that was the easiest way for her to take care of herself and her kid. I'm not sure which one of those are true. Neither could be true. We would have to hear from Sabrina the reason why she chose that as her career of choice. But I'm really curious as to why Walter thinks it's a red flag, because it may not necessarily be a red flag. The only reason why it may be deemed a red flag is because of society's negative attachment or association to dancing. The Brand Girl Squad, we got introduced to them, and they actually spoke about it on this episode of the show. The Brand Girl Squad, as I said before, consists of Camille, Zadia, and Mumen. And in this car, most of them were riding together with Cornelius. So we had the person on the passenger side was Camille, and we had Zadia in the back while Cornelius was driving. Camille, I said, is way ahead of Cornelius in terms of everything as far as their relationship is concerned. She's talking about houses, she's talking about marriage, she's talking about a lot of things that is very premature considering they're just getting to know each other. It's literally just been a couple of weeks and she's already seeing marriage and she's already talking about houses and stuff. And he wants her to slow down because he's not at that point. And I feel like she got upset and I feel like she uses her emotions to manipulate him. And so when she got annoyed because she didn't like how he responded to what she was saying, his reaction to that is to try to appease her and to say to her, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. This is what I meant. We could still have something, trying to keep her happy. But I wonder at what cost is it to him to keep her happy? Is he happy? Does he feel like this is going to be a successful relationship? Or is he just sticking to her and by her because he wants to stay longer on the show? What is it? Because a lot of viewers are thinking that at this point, you've seen all the red flags that you need to see and you're just purposely staying because you want to just stay as long as you can on the show. Because people find it very difficult to believe that Cornelia still wants to pursue something with Camille, considering what we're seeing on the TV. Camille is going everywhere on her social media platform, on YouTube pages, trying to clarify how she came across on the show. And my thing about it is, I do understand that production has a job to do. Editors will edit the show based on the narrative. And as I think it was Sean rightfully said, the editors start from the ending. So based on how the ending of the show turns out, they're gonna gradually mold the contestants to become that person or to have that result that the ending had, because otherwise it wouldn't fit together. So there must have been something Camille did or Zadiel has done that made producers feel like, okay, let's edit them this way based on the result we had. Like, if the result was positive, I don't necessarily believe that they'd be painting them off to be these meat girls. I feel like that's essentially what they gave production, and they can't use what you don't give them. And they try to explain it away. Oh, it's TV. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you were arguing and you are being possessive. So what are we not seeing? But anyways, I digress, sorry. So the mansion, everybody gets to the mansion, beautiful space, nice pool. I think there was a lovely view that I think Sabrina showed us of her room. So Naeem picks Zadia up, kisses her. That kind of shocked me because he doesn't seem like a very affectionate person. His personality is very bland to me. And according to the song, he may not be right for me, but he right for somebody. But I really don't know how Naeem lasted this long, because to be honest with you, he's not giving anything. She finally told us who her two connections were. They are Dante and Naeem. Walter and Mumen meet at the piano. They made a song called Stay Right. And as we know, Mumen sings. She's into music. And Walter also sings. So they bond on the music front. Zadia is Dante's number one connection, and that's the revelation we found out today. But he's exploring a connection with Aisha, and I think he mentioned the fact that the reason why he's exploring other connections, first of all, you're supposed to explore as many connections as you can. That's just the nature of the show. But another reason he mentioned is because Zadia is not reciprocating those same feelings that he's reciprocated to her. And it might be because this is a process that it's very difficult to be vulnerable in, because your competition is eating breakfast, lunch, dinner with you, bathing with you in the pool, talking to you, having fun with you. So it's like a very awkward situation. So I understand why Zadia would be guarded and not be very open to another connection, but at the same time, that is what you signed up for. You signed up to be vulnerable and to date multiple people, and he's not receiving anything from her. So he went to Aisha, and that is definitely not something we saw, because there was no leading up to that. It's not like we saw them interact previously on other episodes. This is the first time we're seeing Aisha and Dante actually interact with each other. And yes, I like how they interact. I think that they could possibly have a good connection. Now they all meet, and Tommy's telling them that a man is leaving the next morning. They all look surprised and shocked, like they don't know what type of show they're on. Walter thinks his connections are solid. His connections, as we know, are Moomin and Sabrina. Camille and Cornelius are in the kitchen. She's making him drinks. And that's the thing with Cornelius. I don't know if it's editing, but we always see him with Camille. Like, I've never seen Cornelius not with Camille, especially after Courtney left. I've never seen him interacting with any other woman. And that just annoys me, because I feel like the nature of the show is for you to interact with as many women as possible. The nature of the show is not for you to come on and in 2 episodes limit your interaction to just one person. That's not how the show works. You have to be inclusive. And I feel like people don't understand that. But we're going to talk about that later on. So, Walter is with Sabrina and feels that his energy has changed. And I think Moomin feels like Walter's energy has changed when Sabrina is around, and she doesn't like that. And she sees them at the piano. She sees Sabrina and Walter at the piano. He's probably wanting to serenade her or whatever. She comes in, makes the situation very awkward, because she's trying to rub on him and stuff like that, and Sabrina is sitting right next to him. And she feels like Walter is not opening up to her. Walter is a different person when Sabrina is there. And I just feel like Moomin should have seen them and just allowed them to be. Like, leave them alone. Let them connect. Let them bond. Let them do what they have to do. Like, in that scenario, I feel as if Moomin was a little bit wrong, because why are you coming there? What are you coming there to do? It seemed as if she came there to prove to Sabrina that, hey, me and Walter also have a strong connection. So she's touching on him. She's wanting him to reciprocate. But he can't do that because Sabrina is there. And how respectful would it be for him to be like touching on Moomin and Sabrina is sitting right next to him? It's just not wise, and it's just gonna end up being messy. Like, any way you look at it, her coming there would be messy, and it would put Walter in a very difficult situation. And I feel like what Moomin was trying to do is try to make a power move on Walter, but it backfired on her. And I don't feel sorry for her, because this man also has a connection with Sabrina. Allow him to have his connection separate and apart from you. Why do you feel like you needed to put yourself in the midst of that situation? Like, any way you slice it, it would have been awkward. It would have either been awkward for Sabrina, it would have been awkward for you, or it would have been awkward for Walter. It would have just been an awkward situation any way you put it. So I said it's difficult navigating 2 connections in close proximity. I know he wants everybody to feel like he's respectful of them, but one is wanting external validation, and it's like, I can't give you what you want and be respectful. It just doesn't work like that. So Frank and Sydney are at the pool. They're like connecting and stuff like that. And he said that he's gonna be focusing his attention on Sydney and Frank. To Sydney and Mumen. To this day, we have no idea what happened with the connection between Frank and Aisha. We saw them 1 minute, and the next minute it just disappeared. Now, as they say, they have an instant chemistry, an instant connection. That's Sydney and Frank, and it's just easy with them. And I was gonna say something, but I forgot what I was gonna say. That's that for now. Oh, I think he was attempting to kiss Sydney, and she kind of blew him off a bit. But anyways, we know that Sydney's connections are with Frank and Phil. Yeah, so of course, if your other potential mate is like in your eye shot or within your vicinity, of course I'm not gonna want to kiss another guy in front of him. I mean, that's gonna create like a lot of like problems and issues. So yes, so Naeem and Zaria, I just don't see the connection. And I say this all the time. Every time I see them interact, I just do not see the connection between these two. All how I see them is like I could care less about what they're doing, because I just don't see anything there. We have Phil and Shiloh. They're cute by the pool. We only saw that little bit of interaction with Shiloh and Phil. That was all we got. And that's possibly because it's gonna amount to something big later on. Walter and Mumen doesn't feel like Walter is opening up, especially with Sabrina around the bend. He tells Mumen not to be petty or catty because we all know what the situation is. She thinks he switches up and Sabrina is manipulating him against her. And I said, say her name, girl. You talking about someone is manipulating you? Say her name. Her name is Sabrina. You think Sabrina is manipulating Walter, which to me sounds dumb, because I feel like Walter is able to make his decisions on his own. He's a grown man. He's had life experiences. He's lived his life. He would know what's going on in his situation with Sabrina. I just don't feel as if Sabrina is manipulating him. How is Sabrina manipulating him? What is Sabrina telling him to be manipulative, and why would she come to that conclusion? I have absolutely no idea. But after that, she got up, she left. And according to Walter said, he doesn't like the fact that instead of talking about the situation, she chose to walk off. I mean, your relationship wouldn't work anyway, but whatever. Aisha is cooking with Dante. They connected on the phone, but had not gotten a chance to date on the show. And that just proves what I've been saying about the production and producers. They are the ones that set these people up on dates. Let's say I like one of the contestants. Not because I told them, oh, I have interest in this person, it means that they're gonna put me on a date with that person. The production is who decides who goes on which date with which person. And apparently they've never really given Aisha and Dante a chance to go on a date on the show. So they've been limited to phone calls and video calls because that's all they could really do. Now, she wants to see where things will go with him. She's saying she could really cook, and when she cooks, he might fall in love with her, and I think he just might after tasting her food. But I love to see the interaction with her and Dante. No, I was not expecting it. Nobody was expecting it. Now, Camille and Cornelius. Cornelius is, upon Camille's invitation, goes to see her. And after this cute, godly speech, she presents him a necklace, which says something about God is greater than whatever. And she said she wanted to engrave her initials on the back. Now I said that wasn't that wasn't necessarily a nice gesture. That was just a dog tag. That was literally a brand. She branded him, so that he knows, or other women know, don't talk to him, he's mine. That's basically what she did. I know it comes across like it's sweet and so on, but the intention was sinister. The intention was, don't talk to him, he's mine. You see, I bought him this necklace. It's my, when they put the collar around the dog, that was Cornelius's collar, literally. And she even tells him that she wants him to wear it every day. And that's that controlling thing she does. Now, production asked Cornelius if Camille is controlling, and instead of saying yes or no, he didn't answer. And that's all we need to know about how he is with Camille and how he interacts with her and how he tolerates her and so on. He clearly walks on eggshells with her. And that is very sad to see. And as I said, it's annoying to see. I'm very much sick of both of them. I am up to the tip of the longest strand of my hair with them. I'm through. I hate seeing them. I hate seeing the interaction. And I just want to speak about this for a little bit. Before I even go further into things, people in the comment section are basically saying, oh, I don't understand why you guys are mad at Camille because she has a connection and so on and so forth. That's not the issue. And sometimes I just really dislike how people just choose to ignore or not consider fully what someone is saying. Nobody's saying that Camille doesn't need to have a connection. What people are saying is that possessive, controlling energy that she has is not necessary. It's not necessary, and it hides a very huge insecurity that she has within herself that she needs to get fixed and sorted out. People are not saying don't have a connection. Another problem is the nature of the show, as I said before, is for everyone to be open to multiple connections, not just one. You notice the moment somebody has one connection, they get sent home. And that is because you have to be open. People need to see the benefit of keeping you there. It is a group thing. If it was an individual thing, then fine. But it is a group of men and a group of women that have to come together each week to decide, they're gonna have to decide, does this person, how many of us does this person benefit if we keep them here? Meaning, how much of a potential connection do we have with this one person? If that one person only has a connection with one of the women, how does it benefit the rest of the women? It literally doesn't. It actually works to the group's detriment because you are only connecting with just one. You are only benefiting one. Why should you be kept? It makes no sense. And the same for the women, same for the men. If I'm only connecting with if I'm only connecting with one person, I'm not beneficial to the other people. Why would I want to stay? We could explore our connection off the show. I mean, if you guys feel like you have such a strong connection, then I think it's time for you guys to leave. Leave the show. Because the process doesn't happen and shouldn't happen so quickly. And if you figured it out that quickly, then the process doesn't serve you anymore. You should leave. It fulfilled its benefit. You should take that and go and not want to ride it out until the end. You know what I mean? Because for me and for a lot of viewers, when the contestants choose to ride it out until the end, when they already have their connection, it just seems as if they just want to stay until the end of the show. It becomes disingenuous. It becomes fake. It becomes something that is done just for popularity, just for Instagram following. It's just no longer about a relationship, because if you genuinely came there for a relationship, you would have no problem leaving when you think you found that person. Why stay? You're not benefiting anybody else there with your presence. Okay, now let's get back into things. So the folks meet for the meal. Cornelius prays. Camille dictates where he sits. She didn't want him sitting next to her. She wanted him sitting across from her. And he's like a little puppy, following her every command. I cannot stand Cornelius. He annoys me so much. And people are like, oh, poor Cornelius. Not poor Cornelius. That's a grown man that is accepting this. I'm not going to be empathetic towards him at all or ever. I feel like some women like to treat men like they're oblivious, like they're little kids that don't know any better. These men know what they're doing and they're willing to tolerate it. Who am I to defend him when he's happy with what he's doing? This man is not dumb. Give him the benefit of being able to think for himself and make his own decisions. He's not a kid. Stop treating men like they're kids. Stop treating women, stop treating men like they're your children. They have brains of their own. They've lived their lives. This man is not a spring chicken. He can make his decisions on his own. He's choosing to do what he's doing. You keep telling him run. You don't have to tell him that. He should know what is good and what is bad for him. You know? Anyways, so Dante says that what he sees Camille and Cornelius' situation is like a possessive situationship. She says that she did a sprint while others were doing a marathon. And I think I already spoke about that. The nature of the show is for you to do a marathon, not a sprint. So if you've already done the sprint and gotten the person, then get off the show. We don't need to be seeing any of you anymore. Alright? Because people think choosing someone the first day and sticking to them is how the show works. That's not how this show works. This is not Love Island, where you find someone and you stick with them throughout. That's not how that works. Sydney thinks the women are nasty and catty, and she was referring to Camille and Zadia, and they were. Aisha is trying to be the voice of reason, but Camille says she'll F someone up if they dare go near her man. Zadia is saying you're supposed to fight for the person you have the connection with, which is true. But if the majority doesn't share that connection with that person, why should they keep them? It doesn't serve the other people. She's trying to say that Aisha has no connection and that's why she's hating on Camille. But I said, but you're holding on by a thread too, because I don't see Dante putting up with you for very much longer. Naeem might tolerate you, but who knows for how long? Maybe he still is, because he be in the comment section defending her. He's defending this woman like that's his wife. He's on Instagram, he's on Little Black Book, he's on Miss Misha, he's on everybody's page commenting, defending Zadia, blaming production. So that just leads me to believe that they're either really good friends now or they're together. Now, not that I care. Phil takes Aisha to the side because it was getting heated and asks her why she feels the need to explain her process. But that's not what she was necessarily doing. You know, she was calling out the BS. Anyways, people like to dismiss opposition and call it hating. And I said this, like, black people are normally trendsetters, and I think they're the one who started calling people haters and so on, and everybody just followed. And I feel like it's easy to dismiss someone by saying they're hating, they're jealous, or they're broke, because it's easy to do. But what it ends up doing is the conversation stops at that. And most of the time, it's deeper than you calling them a hater. It's deeper than you're thinking they're jealous. It's deeper than the fact that they're broke or not broke. And what frustrates me is there's just no getting deeper into anything, because they cover it with you're a hater. The conversation is almost dismissed when it could be a very fruitful and learning conversation. But people are just so quick to call people haters and so on and so forth, and just dismiss good possible conversation that it just I hate it so much. I think everyone else agreed with Aisha but did not back her in front of the group. Even Zadia wanted him gone, but because that's her bestie's Camille, she feels the need to comment and defend her wanting Cornelius to be here still. It's just dumb to me. Sabrina thinks they're just mean girls. Cornmeal, which is Cornelius and Camille, has some cracks, because Cornelius is saying, I didn't know she was so argumentative, you think? And after we think that and whatever. It's taking you too long to come to that conclusion. You're pissing me off at this point. Dante and Zadia have a moment. He was telling her that she was poking the bear. And she mentioned him avoiding her the whole time during their time in the mansion. She thinks it's him making a decision on who he wants because he was on Aisha's side during their argument. You notice that when they took Aisha from the table, it was Phil and Dante who were there with her. And that's her two strong connections. So it's clear that on both sides, they feel like each other is not reciprocating feelings. Dante is not really liking Zadia and her conflict resolution skills. She feels like Zadia, she feels the need to be the last one talking during a conversation or a debate or an argument. And of course, that's a red flag in any type of situation for a potential relationship. Phil and Aisha talk about their debacle, and as I was kind of joking. I said Phil didn't even seem that interested. Phil's over here thinking about Shiloh. No, he doesn't really want to listen to what Aisha has to say about anything. Dante came and grabbed Aisha. He had a massage table set up for her, and it was beautiful. She enjoyed it. She appreciated it. You guys see how she got on that table? She got on all fours, had her butt poking out. I said, she ain't fooling us. She was giving Dante the I'm ready signal. She made sure to tell him exactly where to focus, which to me was funny. She shared her appreciation for him being there for her through the disagreement. She shares that this is one of the best moments for her. He goes to her buttocks and it's a wrap, honey. The folks are having breakfast the next day and loving the energy. And notice who's absent from the table. I did not see Camille, did not see Zadia, did not see Moomin, didn't see Cornelius. Literally, I didn't see any of the people from the Brand Girl squad. Okay? Tommy comes in, reminds them that they have to make a decision. They get into an argument again because he actually had a whole group meeting and then he separated and spoke with just the women. And they got into an argument again with Aisha, who says that everyone has their own connection and process. Zadia feels like she's being contradictory. Tommy gets mad, changes the subject. Sabrina is feeling Walter. And of course, they pan over to Moomin. Moomin feels like things have fizzled out and he's withdrawn. Dante and Aisha, she loves their connection and speaks on the massage. Zadia feels like he puts her in the back and Aisha in the front, which might be true, especially because of him getting a dose of how you are during arguments. He ain't feeling that. Naeem is giving her space and allowing her to, go through her own process. Naeem is the fallback guy. He has positioned himself to be Zadia's fallback guy, and there's nothing really admirable about that, not to me. Now, Aisha, now I don't know about whatever she was saying. I think she was saying something about Sydney calls Frank B, of course. Camille says Cornelius is her man, gives him a necklace. Well, she spoke about giving him a necklace. Always speaks on her engagements. She has to let everybody know that she was engaged 3 times. And she thinks it's something good when everybody's cringing every time she says it. And I feel like she thinks it's something good because she thinks that because it was leading up to a marriage that she was more than a girlfriend. But if you weren't married, despite you being engaged, the fact that you were not married, you're still a girlfriend with a ring. That's essentially what you were. So she spoke about, oh, we wanted God to be the center. She said she wasn't ready for her previous engagements. And yeah, Zadia chooses Walter to go to the bottom. Sabrina chooses Cornelius. Shallow chooses Cornelius. Mumen also, I think, agrees with Cornelius. Mumen feels Naeem is distracted. One time he here, next time he's somewhere else. Aisha says Naeem is up and down. Zadia came in to defend her only connection, but proves what the others have said. He's just not very open. You may tell him to be open and make friends, but if that's not what he's feeling like doing, he's not gonna do it. Now, Cornelius and Naeem is at the bottom. As I said before, you cannot just decide to pursue one and ignore everybody else. It's a group situation. Everybody else has to vote on how significant you are to the group. If you're only important to one person, you're not significant to the group. Why should they keep you? These people, it's like they never saw this show in their lives before. Camille and Cornelius are on the other bubble date. They're both on the chopping block to go home. She's trying to speak on the ladies' deliberation. She's tearful. I don't know what that means because it's kind of making me hopeful that Cornelius is gonna end up leaving. I really hope he ends up going home. I'm sick of him at this point. The preview show Mumen settling with Frank, which to me is pitiful and pathetic because your connection is not with Walter or Frank. You should leave. That's the admirable thing for Mumen to do. Mumen should just leave gracefully and say her connection isn't there. Don't try to make things work with people that you know it's not going to work with. Frank wants sex. You don't want sex. I don't think Frank wants marriage anytime soon. You do. You're religious. Frank is not. I don't see how you guys can make a good couple. I don't see it. To me, it was just Mumen's attempt to kind of get whoever she can get to stay on the show. Like, just leave. Your connection isn't here. Sydney wants to do more than kiss Phil because we saw in the preview she kisses Phil, but the kiss she gives is like she wanted to do more. Like she wanted to do some tongue or some more stuff, but he kept it at a little peck. Dante has an intense meeting with Zadia and tells her on that date that he is feeling Aisha, and at some point that leads to Zadia getting up and looking down at his face and pointing at him, and if anything that's gonna solidify why they don't ever work again, ever. So anyways, you guys, we saw a lot of previews, a lot of behind the scenes footage from Aisha, and we were wondering who else was riding together. Well, it turns out that Aisha, Dante, and Mumen were riding together. I don't know about the other people. I'm assuming they were riding together as well. So yes, I'm gonna post maybe a little bit of the behind the scenes footage from that was maybe Sabrina's page, and she showed her beautiful villa. We saw Mumena and everyone dancing, and Aisha, they were all dancing with White, I believe is one of their producers. And then what else do we see behind the scenes? We see Dante's behind the scenes. And yes, they had a lovely time at the resort. It looked very beautiful, very peaceful. It was a lovely day that they filmed on that resort. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Do you think that Aisha was wrong, or do you think Aisha was right? Do you think Zadia had no right to put herself in a debate that wasn't about her? It wasn't referring to her. It was about her friend, and she felt the need to, step in. Do you feel like Aisha is contradictory? Do you feel like she's saying everybody should do their process how they want to do, but then do you feel like she's dictating how other people should do their process? Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, and see you in the comment section. Bye bye.